of their shape. On the basis of the shape, namely it is 3. Sometimes you can find 4 also, but namely it is 3 actually. Look at the given image over here. You have different types of bacteria, like spherical shaped bacteria can be found here. This over here, spirilla.
Sir, actually, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, actually, is it okay if I take screenshots now, like for all the classes, and when my individual classes start, I'll just like write everything in a notebook. So is that all right, sir?
Yeah, it's okay. Also, let's do one thing now. How about once the chapter is done, I would be providing the slides to you guys. I would provide the PPT. Okay, na? Because
Okay.
earlier I told students to take live notes in the class, but it was kind of a very time consuming process right now. So thereby just keep on listening to what I say, pay attention, ask questions, do questions in the class, and once the chapter is finished, I will be providing the PPT. Everyone okay with that?
Yes, sir.
So you have a spherical shaped bacteria like this here. Then you have rod shaped bacteria. See this bacilli. Oh, yeah, it's not working here. This rod shaped bacteria. You have a spiral shaped bacteria. You have a spherical shaped bacteria also. And there's this one more comma shaped bacteria also. So sometimes it is mentioned like there are 3 types of bacteria based on shape, or sometimes it is said that there are 4. Usually here we are observing that there are 4 different types of bacteria based on their shape. What are the shapes? You have comma shaped bacteria, spherical shaped bacteria, rod shaped bacteria, and then spiral bacteria. Okay, now guys, is my screen not visible?
No, sir.
So there are 4 types of bacteria based on shape. Namely, the first one you have comma shaped bacteria. Second one is spherical shaped bacteria. Third one is rod shaped bacteria. Fourth one is spiral shaped bacteria. And what you are seeing here, no, this vibrio or this cocci, this bacilli, these are this spirilla. These are the names of those bacteria that are having this kind of shape. Try to understand. Those bacteria, whether it be Vibrio cholerae or whether it be Vibrio something else, all of them will be having this name in them. All of them will be having this name Vibrio in them because of their comma shape bacteria, comma shape, right? Then look at this one having a spherical shape. So it has a word in its name called as cocci is somewhere there, like coccus is written here. Cocci, coccus, right? Then you have this bacilli shaped bacteria. Then you have some exception like salmonella is there right now. So hope you are guys are getting what I'm trying to say.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no? Then we did studied about different properties of bacteria. We did discuss that cells are of 2 types. In general, we did talk like all types of cells, whether you consider about the human cells, we consider about the animal cells, plant cells, any kind of cells. They are categorized into 2 types. One is the, yes, see, cells based on their complexity, they are of 2 types. One is the,
Prokaryotic,
another one is
eukaryotic,
eukaryotic. We humans are having which type of cell?
eukaryotic cell,
Eukaryotic cell. Okay, now. While bacteria are having
prokaryotic cells.
prokaryotic cell. Or also they are having just one cell in their body right now. So bacteria is such a microorganism that is just made up of one cell. Some of them are useful, some of them are bad right now. Four major types of bacteria based on their shape are as follows: Bacillus, Vibrio, cocci, and Spirilla. Okay. Then you have some of the common bacteria at your home. What are some common bacteria? Before that, I think we did discussed one topic. Yeah. Tell me this thing. What are some of the common bacteria which we know of? Like you all have heard of rhizobim bacteria, no?
Yes, sir.
Hmm? Which bacteria helps in making of curd?
Lactobacillus. Lactic acid.
Lactobacillus. Very good. Lactobacillus. So these are some of the common examples. And their use also, I suppose you are aware of their uses. Talking about some of the diseases that are spread by them. What are some of the diseases spread by them? Disease spread by bacteria.
Typhoid.
Typhoid. Very good. Then you have
Cholera.
cholera. Very good. Then you have tuberculosis. Right now. How does tuberculosis spread, by the way? From contaminated air, it can spread right now. Tuberculosis can spread from contaminated air. Apart from this, you have some other diseases also, like food poisoning is also caused by bacteria. Then you have diphtheria also. Then you have like cough also, particularly whooping cough. So just to name a few, these are some of the disease caused by the bacteria. Hope you guys are getting it. Okay, na? Let's discuss a little bit about these kind of diseases. Usually it's not part of the chapter, but I think you should, as part of your general knowledge, you should know. Like what happens in cholera? Yeah. See, in cholera, there's a bacteria. I suppose if you guys noticed, we did studied about this bacteria. Yeah. It's a comma shaped bacteria. Look at this one over here. Oh, it's not working. 1 minute. Look at this one. Vibrio cholerae. Yeah, Chakrika, Sandas, Khadija.
Yes, sir.
Yes, everyone.
Yes,
So
sir.
this one causes cholera. Vibrio cholerae is known to spread the disease called as cholera. 1 minute. So here you have the disease and you have the cause of the disease, or basically the bacteria that is causing the disease. So for typhoid, it is Salmonella typhi. Salmonella typhi. Do you guys notice at least there are some words common between the disease and the bacteria, like typhi, typhoid, right now? Vibrio cholerae. Cholera, cholerae from this Vibrio cholerae. Okay, now?
So what
So
happened in diphtheria?
in diphtheria, one by one, we will discuss that. 1 minute. Let's start by discussing about this typhoid. Typhoid is basically, in this case, the person will be suffering from high fever, dehydration, weakness, right now. Might even suffer from pain in joints, in muscles. So that is what happens in typhoid, and usually it spreads from contaminated food and water. Talking about cholera, In cholera, basically what happens, in particularly this disease affects the intestines. Cholera will affect your intestines, and in your intestine, what will happen? It will be affecting your small intestine particularly, and your body will start to secrete lots of water. So your body will be losing lots of water, lots of important minerals and salts, and it can lead to diarrhea also. Getting it now? So this is what happens during cholera, right now, and it can lead to death also if patient is not cured within the first few hours, or if the proper treatment is not provided. So it can kill the person also, right now. And also, like, diseases have got different stages. For example, cholera has also got different stages. Like, there are 2 or 3 stages of cholera. So every disease has got a different stage. Like, you guys might had heard of this. Like, dengue has got a life cycle of almost 10 to 12 days. Dengue virus has a life cycle of almost 10 to 12 days. So a patient that is suffering from dengue fever will not be cured without before 2 weeks, or before 10 days. Hope you guys are able to relate. Have you guys ever heard like a have you guys have heard of dengue fever? It's a common fever caused by dengue virus, right now. Okay. Talking about this tuberculosis. What happens in tuberculosis? Any idea? What happens in tuberculosis? See, basically, in tuberculosis, what happens? The bacteria will be infecting the lungs of the patient. Mainly, it affects the lungs of the patient. Apart, and what happens in lungs? Like, water will start to accumulate inside the lungs. Pus formation will take place, right now. Apart from infecting the lungs, it can also infect other parts of the body. Like, it can affect the spinal cord, spine. It can affect the brain. It can affect the different type of glands in the body, right now. So the bacteria of tuberculosis, once it goes inside the body, particularly in the lungs, there it will start to multiply, and it will start to attack the different other parts of body also, right now. So as you know that, like, every organ in the body is connected by the blood vessels. Every organ is connected by the blood vessels. So via the blood, tuberculosis will pass to different parts of the body and start affecting them. Hope you guys have understood it so far. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, na? Then food poisoning, I suppose you guys know what food poisoning is. Basically, if the food is contaminated by the action of bacteria or by fungus, so thereby it leads to it becomes toxic in nature. And once some person consumes it, it will lead to indigestion, and it might lead to vomiting, it might lead to diarrhea, it might lead to stomach pain. So that's what happens. Then talking about what happens in diphtheria. See, there's a bacteria called as Corynebacterium. Let me write its name. No need to memorize it, just for the sake of just letting you know what is the name. There's a bacteria called as Corynebacterium. The complete name is diphtheriate, I believe. Yeah, diphtheriate. What happens? This bacteria will, once it enters into in the body of the person, it will cause problems like there will be problem in breathing. Right now, there will be problem like breathing. Apart from breathing, it will cause other problems also. There are other symptoms of diphtheria also. Okay, now. So particularly, you will see that the persons that are above the age of 55 or 60, or the children that are below the age of 50, they are more at risk of getting this virus. So people who would be living in very unhygienic conditions, in very unclean conditions, or overly crowded person, or those children who are not well nourished, who are not provided with adequate amount of food right now. So they are at more risk. So thereby they should be getting medicines time to time to develop immune against this virus, against this disease. Okay, now also in this case, what will happen? You might see that the face and the different parts of the body starts to swell. Okay, now and which part of the body is affected? As I say that it will lead to difficulty in breathing, so thereby it affects the nose and the throat region. So this part of the body, this throat, this nose area, this will be swelling. You guys getting it what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Hope I could show the image, but right now it's not possible. Just understand that the face will swell basically because the throat and the nose will be affected. So thereby this region of the face will start to swell right now. And like if you were to open the mouth of the patient, you will find at the back of the mouth right now where the tonsil is, that part would look very bad. That would start turning whitish right now. Will start to swell. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no? Okay, I forgot to tell the name of this. Which bacteria causes tuberculosis? So there's a bacteria called as a mycobacterium tuberculosis. Mycobacterium tuberculosis, actually. Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Do you guys observe some relation between the name of the bacteria and the disease caused by them?
Yes, sir. They are
Yeah.
like similar.
Yes. Right now. So you can observe that also. And whooping cough, it's a general thing, like you guys
Sir, will
understand.
you be sending this PPT?
Yeah, I will be sharing all this. Okay, na?
Okay, sir.
And the uses we have already discussed a little bit in the previous class. Okay. Now let's to talk about another class of microorganism called as fungi or fungus. Right now, fungi or fungus. So these are a large group of organisms which do not have chlorophyll in them, and they do not do photosynthesis. Some scientists consider them as part of the plant kingdom also, but it is kind of separate from the plant kingdom. Okay, na? They are not true plants. So fungi, they are saprophytic or parasitic organisms. They are mostly multicellular and not microscopic. However, yeast is a unicellular and microscopic organisms. Let's try to understand this. You will be having examples of, like, you all must have seen bread mold. Bread, when it expires and when it is infected with fungus. So bread mold you have seen, or you might have used yeast powder in the kitchen while preparing some bakery food. You might have used yeast powder. Yeah. Then you have must eaten edible mushrooms. Yes, mushrooms. All of these are examples of fungi, and you can actually see them now. So thereby, are they truly microorganisms or are they not microorganisms? Yes,
They are.
they are actually microorganisms. See, basically the thing is that since they are multicellular and since they are found to be living at large numbers in a place, so thereby you are able to see. For example, let's say that this is a tiny fungi. Let's say this is a very tiny fungi. So you won't be able to see it. But if it were to be living in thousands and thousands of number, then will you not be able to see it? Like not just thousand lakhs of them. So you probably would be able to see them. Like see this image over here. You might have seen this patches develop on the bread. This is called as bread
mold.
mold. And in the chapter crop production, I might have told you about this, like this thing that even the plants catches some kind of diseases right now. So thereby we have to provide medicines to the plants also. The first image that you see over here, this is called as, this is a wheat plant, isn't it? And the disease is wheat rust. Getting it? So what you find that, what points we have discussed so far, that they are a large group of organisms which do not have chlorophyll in them. They are a large group of organisms. They don't have chlorophyll. You guys suppose, I suppose all of you know what chlorophyll is, right?
Yes, sir.
So they don't have chlorophyll in them. So no chlorophyll means that they do not perform photosynthesis. So hence no photosynthesis right now. So what is the mode of their nutrition? How they would be obtaining nutrition? Yeah. So the mode of nutrition in fungi is either saprophytic or either parasitic in nature. What is saprophytic? What is saprophytic mode of nutrition? Yes.
His partner
Sir,
and like
Yeah. Sundus, please speak a little bit louder.
mm, in which like yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, no worries. Anyone else?
sir, the mode of nutrition in which plants take in nutrition from dead and decaying animals.
Not just animals and not just plant. Whether it be a plant, whether it be a microorganism or a fungus, that will be living on the dead and decaying organic matter. So they obtain their nutrition from the dead and decaying matter. It could be a plant, it could be a fungus, it could be a microorganism. Okay, now. So
Sir, but it will always be a natural, right? It will always be natural, right?
yeah, it will always be natural, but
Okay.
we do cultivate it also. Like we do cultivate mushroom plant. So we are providing the decaying organic matter to them, like, or basically we provide the manures manures to them
Okay, sir.
right now. So you can find that mushrooms, wild mushrooms are also, you can find mushrooms also growing on the dead and decaying plant and animal matter. And then thereby you have edible type of mushrooms also, which are edible. And edible mushrooms are kind of slightly grown in a different manner right now. So thereby, since it is edible, so you need to ensure that toxic substances are not present in it. So thereby, proper farming of mushroom is done, whereby all the necessary nutrients required by the mushroom is provided to it. Okay, now. So talking about fungi, fungi is also one of the one such example which has got a saprophytic mode of nutrition. Like, look at this one over here. This is a dead and decaying substance. This is a basically a decaying substance. This expired bread is decaying, and this will be eaten by the fungi. Okay, now. So we said that fungi can have a saprophytic mode of nutrition. Okay, now. And thereby we say that fungi can have a parasitic mode of nutrition also. How so? See, parasitic nutrition, I believe all of you know, in which one of the living organisms will be living on or inside the body of their host and will be deriving nutrition from them. Okay, no? And they, in this case, they will be harming the host right now. Now there are some of the fungi, only few of the fungi are there in the nature which are parasitic in nature, but their number is very few. Maximum types of fungi are saprophytic. Maximum of them are saprophytic, as you have the example of bread mold. Okay, now. So to say that fungi are either parasitic or saprophytic, you would say they are both. But majority of them are saprophytic. Very few of them are parasitic in nature.
So, but we can write both, right?
Yeah, we have to write both. Right now, we have to write both of them. Getting it now?
Okay, sir.
So hope you guys have understood it. Now, as we discussed earlier, like most of them are multicellular and they are not microscopic. They are visible, like in this image, you can see them, or you have the mushroom, the most common example of a multicellular fungi. But you have such an example that is unicellular and can be seen with the help of a microscope. The name is yeast. Okay, now. So that is yeast. Now, talking about all of the fungi except yeast. If you were to look at some other fungi, um, just 1 minute. Let me provide you guys with a drawing. This is bread mold. This is wheat rust. See, if I were to draw how yeast basically looks like, yeast will kind of look like this. It will kind of look like this. This is yeast. Talking about bread mold, you can look in the image here. This is how a bread mold look like. This is the structure of a bread mold. We are going to discuss about its structure in a moment. First of all, let me complete this drawing I'm trying to make. Bread mold. So it will be having a structure kind of like this. See, this is bread mold. Then you have some other fungi also, like penicillium. I suppose you guys can recall something from penicillium. Is there some word that is coming into your mind?
So
Yes.
the medicine, I
Vaccine.
forgot its proper name. Yeah, vaccine.
Penicillin.
Yes, sir, penicillin.
That was the first vaccine to have been made, right now. Penicillin was the first vaccine to have been made. And who made this? Yes. Anyone? This is penicillium. Okay, na? Then there's one more. That is aspergillus. Aspergillus will kind of somewhat look like this. This one over here, and then the kind of goes like this. See, what basically I'm trying to tell you guys by drawing this diagram over here is that, see, if you were to look at the structure of yeast and look at other structures, yeast is very different from other three. All the fungi except yeast, they are made up of very tiny threads in them that are called as hyphae, or pronounced as hyphae. So what are hyphae? It is actually pronounced as hyphae. HIFEE, hyphae. Okay, now pronounce it like this: hyphae. Hyphae. I mean to say hyphae. Okay, now hyphae. So they are the thread-like filaments which penetrates into substances, secretes enzymes to break down nutrients into smaller molecules and absorb them. Let's first of all understand which part we are basically talking about. See, this filament structure that you're seeing over here, where I'm pointing towards, this is hyphae. Okay, now, or in this one, this filament structure that you are seeing over here, these are the thread-like structures. This is hyphae. This one is hyphae. Are you guys getting it now? You guys getting it now? This is hyphae. This is hyphae. This one is hyphae.
Sir, can you explain again if you don't mind?
No issues. See, if you were to look at all of them, like except the yeast, you see that they have got a thread-like structure. See this thread-like structure? or this thread-like structure, that is called as hyphae. Okay, na? And it will be found in all the fungi except for yeast, right?
Okay,
now,
sir.
now, if you were to look at the head of this head-like structure over here, this head-like structure that is found almost in almost all of them except for the yeast, which will be consisting of spores in them.
Penicillium, right? Because I didn't see the pores
In
in the
penicillium,
penicillium.
see this
Yes,
this
sir.
also consists of it. Like if I were to give a very neat and fine drawing, see it will also be having it actually. Okay, no? It is kind
Sir,
of like this. Mhm.
so if the pores are connected to hyphae, then
Hmm.
I mean, if the whole like structures are connected to the hyphae, then it is considered as a spore, right?
See, let me first of all tell you what spore is basically. Okay, no?
Okay, sir.
Uh-huh. First of all, look at this one over here. That will give you a better idea. See, you can see at the bulb-like structure, basically look at the head of the bread mold, and you will find that some tiny particles are coming out of it. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
So what basically happens now? When this bulb of the bread mold, when does it explode now? This bulb that is called as sporangium actually. This is called as sporangium right now. So when this will explode, when it bursts out, so it releases so many spores in the air. Keep that thing in mind. When it explodes, it will release the spores. And when these spores will land onto the surface of this bread mold, then again new bread mold will start to develop from it. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no? So similar thing happens in the case of other fungi like this in penicillium and this aspergillus also. So all of them consist of spores on top of them. So when this structure will explode, spores will come out of it. This one will, when this part will explode, spores will start to come out of it right now. And wherever they will land, they will grow into a new fungi. So they are a unit of sexual or asexual reproduction. They can adapt for dispersal and survival for extended period of time in unfavorable conditions. So suppose that, let's say that some of the spore lands somewhere else. Let's say this spore over here landed onto something else. Let's say it landed on a piece of table, let's say, where no food is available right now, where no food is available, right? So what will basically happen? It's not like this will immediately die. Once it lands onto something which is edible for it, then it will start to grow. So spores normally they do not die easily. So they can extend their lifespan for some time. Even in unfavorable conditions, they are able to survive. Getting it, guys, or not? Yes.
Yes,
Is that clear to everyone? Gauri, Chakrika, Sundus, and Khadija.
Yes, sir.
sir.
Then talking
Yes, sir.
about this thread-like structure, what is their function? Now, what they will be basically doing now, just like you see in a plant, you have got roots. In the similar manner, this fungi like bread mold, they will also be having a root-like structure. Apart from fungi, the penicillium and this aspergillus, they also possess a root-like structure. So this root-like structure, they will be absorbing all the nutrients from it. They will be absorbing all the nutrients from it. How it basically happens? See, this hyphae, this thread-like structure, they would be releasing some chemicals inside the bread, and those chemicals will start breaking down the complex substance into simpler substance, meaning that it will start just like you understand, like in the mouth, the food is broken down, like starch is converted into maltose. Further you go down into the small intestine and then the stomach, like in the small intestine you have got pancreatic juice, you have intestinal juices. Like intestinal juices, you have studied that the intestinal juices will convert protein into amino acids. All this you guys must have studied in the previous class, I believe, in class 7. So what basically I'm trying to say here, like this bread mold that is made up of complex substances, carbohydrates, sugars, etc. Right now. So for in order to absorb them, this hyphae and the rhizoid, rhizoid basically it's a root. It will secrete some chemicals called as enzymes into the bread mold, and those enzymes will convert them into soluble form. So you can see here what I have written here, that these thread-like filaments, they penetrate into the food. Like substrate basically refers to the bread mold or any kind of food here. They secrete the chemicals like the enzymes, and they break down nutrients into smaller molecules and will now be absorbing them. Is everyone able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts to anyone? Khadija, you got it. Chakrika, Gauri, Sundus.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, no? So that is the thing about it. Okay. Then you have, you see, there are some of the uses of fungi also. Some of them are useful for us. Some of them will be causing diseases also. Right now, like some of the human diseases caused by the fungus are called like ringworm is there, athlete's foot. You guys might have seen a ringworm. Have you guys seen this ringworm? It's, I believe it's a skin disease, I think. Yeah. Let me show its image. Give me a moment. Yes. Look at this one. Have you guys seen anyone suffering from this kind of condition? Look at how the structure looks like. See, it looks like it is circular. Thereby it is called as ringworm. Getting it, you guys.
Is monkeypox a fungal disease?
Repeat again.
Is monkeypox a fungal disease?
Is monkeypox? Is monkeypox a fungal disease? Mm, not sure about that. We'll have to look into it. Yeah, sorry. So see, this is the ringworm which you have. Okay, now let me show you the image of athlete's foot. It's not working. One moment. See this one. See the first three images. That is the athlete's foot. Okay, now. So these are the diseases that are caused by the infection caused by fungus. Okay, now. So hope you guys are getting it what I'm trying to say. Okay, you guys tell me, what are the uses of fungi? Yes, where do we use them? Hello.
So to make alcohol. Oh no, I mean to make like bakery food items maybe.
Mm-hmm. In bakeries, it is used. Yeast powder is used in
Also
bakery,
for
correct?
medicines.
In medicines, it is used. Good. It is used in the production of antibiotics. Huh? You have example of medicines like penicillin, streptomycin. Their fungi is used right now. Then you have mushroom. Mushroom is it consists lots of protein in it. It is highly protein containing food. So that is also consumed in the form of food. As you said, in the bakery also yeast is used. Right, in the bakery also it is used. So these are some of the general uses, particularly in the production of antibiotics. And then you have example of medicines like penicillin or streptomycin. Let me write it. Uses of fungi. The first one, in the production of antibiotics. Then in medicines such as penicillin or streptomycin. So penicillin is made by using a fungus called as called as penicillium. Right now, getting it. Then this question comes that who made penicillin? Hmm? There was this person called as Alexander Fleming. Okay, no. So by chance, while he was working in his laboratory in the year 1928, by chance he discovered this. Okay, now. So what he basically did now, like on some plates, some bacterias were growing. Some bacterias were growing here, and on the same plate, what he found out next day or so, what he found out that some other substances that were growing on it killed those bacteria. And later on, he found out that it was basically the fungi, that is penicillium. So this Alexander Fleming, this person has been credited for the invention of penicillin. Okay, now. So you should know about this one also. Alexander Fleming invented penicillin. Not particularly inventor, but you said that by chance he got to invent this. In bakery, yeast is used. Then you have edible mushrooms. Okay, what were the diseases caused by fungi? You guys tell me. Yeah, Chakrika, Sundus, Vaiga, sorry, Khadija, Gauri.
Athlete's foot.
Athlete's foot is there, and this one more. Ringworm is there. Sorry, this
So
ringworm also.
tuberculosis.
The tuberculosis is not caused by fungi. It's a bacterial disease.
So you meant
Okay, now
fungi?
repeat again.
So you meant fungi?
Yeah, I meant fungi. Right now we're discussing fungi now.
Oh, okay, sir.
So you have example of ringworm. I showed you the image of ringworm. How ringworm affects it. The skin develops um, itchiness right now, and it spreads in a manner like this. Then you have athlete's foot. All right then. Okay. Now let's discuss about this. What is fermentation? Okay. Anyone who knows what is fermentation?
So fragmentation is like a process in which fragment a plant or some wait.
Molecules are broken down, like
Mm-hmm.
while doing
Mm-hmm.
anaerobic thing.
Okay.
So basically, when we
Anaerobic, you were
store an
saying correct,
item,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah, I'm
basically when we
listening.
store an item for some amount of certain amount of time, uh, chemical changes happen, and the enzymes get mixed.
Okay. See, what basically happens in the process of fermentation? Like fermentation, it's a biochemical process. It's a process in which basically we convert different kind of compounds. Like you have particularly carbohydrates
Glucose.
such as starch, correct, glucose or sugar. We convert them into alcohol or an acid. You have different type of carbohydrates. Like you guys know, carbohydrates are of different types. You have glucose, you have a starch, you have fructose. All these are carbohydrates. And where do we find carbohydrates? You find them in different type of fruits. You find them in honey. It is starch is found in rice. Right now, in different type of fruits, carbohydrates are found like glucose, starch. So what basically we do, we would be taking some carbohydrates. Like let's say that you take sugar. It's not like you will be taking the raw sugar. You might be taking some fruits which are a good source of sugar. Then you would be adding
This
a fungi in them.
sugarcane count.
Sugarcane is also used here right now,
Okay.
but
Okay.
not particularly. In order to obtain the rich quality of products, like in order to obtain a rich quality of wine, it is not used right now.
Okay.
So in this, basically what happens, you take sugar, you add yeast powder to it right now, and in the absence of oxygen, that's why I've written minus oxygen, you get to produce alcohol. Along with this, carbon dioxide gas is released. Apart from production of alcohol, it can be used in the production of some acids also. Okay, now. So let me tell you what basically happens. Like fermentation will also be of different types. See, in one type of fermentation, you would be producing an acid. In one type, you'll be producing a alcohol. Right now. So, for example, let's say instead of using yeast, you take sugar, or basically let me write by slash, it is glucose, slash you can take glucose also. Let's say now you add, let's say aspergillus or lactic acid. Aspergillus, you guys know what aspergillus is, right? We have discussed that in the class now.
Sir, it's a fungal disease, right?
Not a fungal disease, in that is in itself a fungi. Okay, now.
Okay, sir.
Getting it now. You have aspergillus. Sometimes we take help of a bacteria also, like lactobacillus is also sometimes used right now. So let's say that you have this. So in that case, you will be getting an acid. You'll be getting an acid in that case. Hope you guys are getting what I'm trying to say. So when you add yeast powder to glucose or sugar, in the absence of oxygen, you'll be getting alcohol and carbon dioxide. And normally this is what is stout. Normally this is what it is stout. But apart from that, we can add aspergillus or we can add lactobacillus also. So thereby you would be getting this in a result. One moment. Like if I were to add lactobacillus to sugar or glucose, in return I would be getting cheese or yogurt. What I would be getting as, let's say I would be getting curd. And curd consists of an acid called as lactic acid. So thereby I'm getting an acid here, right? Are you guys getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now. So we say that fermentation, particularly, it's an anaerobic process. It takes place in the absence of oxygen, in which we convert sugar or glucose into alcohol or carbon dioxide, or we can also obtain products like curd or acids. Curd basically consists of a lactic acid. Getting it? No? So in this, what is happening basically, yeast is helping to break down this glucose into a simpler substance. So in this, this compound has been converted into acids, alcohol, or gases, and it is happening in the absence of oxygen. Let me repeat. Fermentation is the anaerobic process in which a substance like a glucose or sugar breaks into a simpler substance. Simpler substances could be this gas, alcohol, and acid. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Any questions in this one? Yes.
No, sir.
Okay. So in order to obtain alcohol, what you would be using? You would be using. Hello. In
Yes.
order to obtain alcohol, what you would be using? Yeast
Yeast.
or aspergillus or lactobacillus. Yeast you will be using. To obtain an acid, you would either be using aspergillus or lactobacillus. In particular, you want to obtain curd, you would be using lactobacillus. Right now. So what are the products that are prepared using the help of fermentation? So you have following products like different type of alcohol, wine, basically wine and beer, or bread also, or yogurt. Getting it now? So there it is used. Hope you guys are able to understand it. And why we did discuss this? Because in this we had use of some fungi, like you have the use of yeast and aspergillus. So hope you guys won't be forgetting it. Then you have another class of microorganisms called as the algae. So I think I would be keeping this topic for the next class. As of today, let's discuss whatever we have discussed in the class so far. You all must have seen this kind of structure, this kind of slimy and um, sticky substance. Have you guys seen this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you happen to visit somewhere like where the water is very much polluted, you would find that the water body would appear as if someone has laid a green carpet above the water body. It almost looks like a small grassland, or looks like someone laid a green carpet above the water body. That is called as algal bloom. Anyways, so who invented penicillin? Yes, who invented penicillin? Who invented penicillin? Robert Hooke, Alexander Fleming,
Sir,
Anton von Leeuwenhoek,
Alexander.
Alexander Fleming. Good. What is penicillin?
Sure, it's a vaccine. It's the
Vaccine.
first vaccine.
No, actually, I got that mistaken. It's actually antibiotic. Okay, no? Rectify that. It's a antibiotic. Getting it, guys? Then this question should also come in your mind that which was the first vaccine? Yeah,
Yes.
there was this person called as Edward Jenner. Have you heard of him? Edward Jenner. He was the first person to have successfully created a vaccine. Like, you know, that earlier people would be dying from very minor diseases. Nowadays, they are considered as treatable diseases like chicken pox, cowpox. Yeah, heard of these kind of diseases
Yes, sir.
right now. So what he found out, this person Edward Jenner, he found out that people who were infected with the cowpox, they had developed immune to the smallpox. Like say that a person A, see, yeah, a person A has suffered from cowpox. Okay, now he won't be suffering from uh, cowpox. He won't be suffering from a smallpox. Getting at what I'm trying to say? A person A, let's say he suffered from cowpox, so he would have developed immune. He is not immune to smallpox, and this was discovered by Edward Jenner. So in the year 1976, this person did studied on this thing, and what he basically saw that like he did some of the study. What he basically did now, he took some amount of cowpox. Like let's say someone is suffering from cowpox right now, so he would take a sample of cowpox from the skin of that person, let's say, or from wherever he got the sample of cowpox, and he will take a mild version, not a very strong version of the cowpox. Try to understand what I'm trying to say. So he collected some of the smallpox, and he would be rubbing it on the hand of a milkmaid. On the hand of a milkmaid, you know what a milkmaid is. So he took the hand of a milkmaid and he rubbed it on the hand of the milkmaid, and
So what
thereby,
is a milkmaid?
yes,
So what is a milkmaid?
milkmaid. See, basically,
Milk
milk.
ma?
Yeah, milkmaid. Let me write it. Milkmaid, the woman that who takes out milk of the animals. Okay, now.
Oh, okay, sir.
So he took some of the sample of cowpox and he rubbed it on the hand of the milkmaid. And what he found out that they now have developed, now they are resistant to this smallpox.